up for the stars of Star Wars, the 501st, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fat Man. I'm Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Hey!
Oh!
We are in Prince George at the Northern Fan Con. Put your hands together so the folks at home know you're real. You're real, all right. Real far from fucking everything, man. Holy shit, I had no idea I was going this far north this morning when I got up. I was like, Prince George, is that a Vancouver suburb? And it was not. Like, I flew over fucking mountains to get here. I was like, what happens if we go down? They're like, it wouldn't be good. But it's beautiful. Like, it's crazy. They make you travel to get here. This is in northern British Columbia. I've been to British Columbia many times, but the southern part, where all the fucking hicks live, down south. But apparently, I've never been here. This is gorgeous.
I've never been this far north of anywhere ever.
Really?
Yeah. No, this is like I was out last night for drinks. I had absinthe. It's a bad idea. Don't ever do that. And I came back.
Absinthe up here?
Yeah. In the frontier, you can totally get absinthe.
Really? They're like, oh, we fuck with the Green Fairy hard. It's because there's no one to see it.
And I was coming back, and like the sun was still out, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Does it stay light out?
Yeah, sunset was like 9:45 last night?
You got some of that Alaska bullshit going on? I've been to Alaska, man. There was one night where it was all day. Like, it was dark for 45 minutes, and I was like, well, that makes sense, finally. And then it got light again, and I was like, this fucking state's broken.
No wonder we keep it so far away.
I know, really. Yeah, man, we are fucking remote, but it's they got everything. We drove through town. It's like they got, fucking staples, so you guys are good. That's all we got in civilization, man. Los Angeles, you drive around, it's like 6 staples. You guys got one. You're fucking almost LA at this point. We just came out on stage, for those who didn't see at home, who were listening at home, to, what'd you call them? A phalanx?
A phalanx.
A phalanx?
Yeah, I pronounce it the southern way. Phalanx.
Of stormtroopers and Darth Vader himself and Boba Fett. And, I've been a Star Wars fan my whole life. And I've been a hockey fan my whole life. I never imagined I'd be on a stage in a hockey rink with Darth Vader. Like, it's fucking pretty impressive, man. That's awesome. Right now, Northern Fan Con is going on. You've been to it?
It is. Today? I've been here since Thursday night, soaking up, living in the warm, maple-colored bosom of Prince George. It's been lovely. It's a really good crowd.
You ran into Ming Chen, I heard?
I ran into Ming, who, in case you were ever sort of lost in the wilderness and need somebody to take you to the best restaurant where they will serve you absinthe way too early in the night, Ming is your man. He will absolutely make sure that you get, like, a little polluted, but also walk you home. So, he's a really good date.
Tell him the real reveal, though, via Ming last night. I was fascinated by this. What did you learn about Prince George?
I learned about Prince George that there are no strip clubs in Prince George. Is that a lie? Damn, y'all are dirty.
I found that a little hard to believe. I'm like, they're so remote. There must be nudity here somewhere.
No, the woman who drove me from the hotel to the convention today was like, yeah, we don't have those here. There's no.
Maybe she was a fucking Christian who was just trying to keep you on the right path or something like that.
She had something of a convent feel to her, so maybe it wasn't a thing. But and then I broke the news to Ming, and he felt kind of like, aw. I'm like, dude.
He's like, what? No strip clubs? That's why I came to Prince George. How's the con been so far?
The con's been pretty cool. I mean, everybody that I've met, and I've met a handful of really lovely folks, have been super friggin' excited to be here. Like, that's one of the reasons I love conventions, period. But one of the reasons I love kind of small town conventions is that because they don't get that much of this love, when it shows up, it's super fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And so everybody's been really, really generous with their spirit and with their time. And yeah, I've had a blast.
We got a nice crowd showed up here tonight, and I can't imagine anything else is going on. So I'm really surprised the rest of the town's not here as well. I guess my movies haven't traveled this far north. No, it's absolutely lovely to be here. I've been in Canada for the last week, man. I went to Edmonton and did a show with Ralph Garman, did Hollywood Babylon. Then I went to Winnipeg and did a show with Jason Mewes, did Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. Was in Winnipeg when the Winnipeg Jets won Game 7. It's crazy. Like, it was when we sold tickets to that show, it was before anybody knew that they were going to go that deep into that series. And so we sold out pretty fucking quickly. And then all of a sudden they were like, Game 7 is the same night as your stupid fucking show. And this is Canada. Nobody gives a... Like, we like Jay and Silent Bob until the hockey's on. Then fuck Jay and Silent Bob. So we were all worried that, like, cats weren't going to come. Because a lot of people on Twitter were like, hey, can't you delay the fucking show? Like, can't you wait until the game's over? And I had nothing else to do. So I was like, yeah, I'm happy to do it. But the venue was like, that makes no sense. Don't listen to Twitter, you know? I was like, that's how I fucking run my life. So we went and had the show while the game was happening, but they gave me a monitor right at my feet. So, you know, I essentially did fucking color commentary all night long. I was giving them the updates, the play-by-plays and shit like that. It was so it was fun because, you know, thank God the team did well that night. Otherwise, it would have been a shitty show if I had to check in again like, yeah, it's 6-9, they're losing or something like that. But the whole night long, I kept, Jason would be sitting there talking, and I would be looking to my right while he was talking, and then I'd be like, hold on one second. It's 3-1. There's a cushion, and they were like, oh my God, this is the best show ever. Our show improved by virtue of the fact that we happened on a historic night. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll remember that show so fondly and be like, oh my God, that was the greatest show ever, even though it really wasn't because of what happened that night. And so there were people in the beginning who were a little like, fuck, man, I can't believe I chose this over watching Game 7. But I made them feel better because I was like, look, I gave up some shit to be here in Winnipeg today. Number one, nice weather. I said, but number two, like I had tickets to the Solo premiere in Los Angeles that happened just the other night. Mm-hmm. And they fucking built the Millennium Falcon on Hollywood Boulevard, and I live 3 blocks from Hollywood Boulevard. I literally could have walked to the Millennium Falcon, took a whiz on it, and walked home. Like, they probably wouldn't have let me go in the premiere, but still. So it was so close, it was in my fucking neighborhood. Star Wars was in my neighborhood, but I was already previously committed to Winnipeg. So I told them that, and they didn't give a fuck because it was Game 7, But so anyway, I did Winnipeg, and then I was just in Vancouver last night with Ralph. So it's been a Canadian trip for me, man. And it's been lovely. This was a great way to cap it, honestly. No bullshit. Like, I didn't know where I was going because I've never been here. And every time throughout Canada for the last week, people are like, oh, where are you going? I'd be like, oh, I'm here in Edmonton, then I'm going to Winnipeg, and then I'm going to Vancouver, and I finish up in Prince George. And the smile would drop from their face. Like, Winnipeg, yeah, Vancouver, yeah. Prince George. Be careful of the highway of tears and shit like that.
I like that you're the B.A. Baracus of comedy. Like, I don't know where I'm going next. Just put me on a fucking plane. Damn it, fool. I don't want to go on another plane, fool.
They knocked me out.
You know I don't fly.
I woke up on a propeller plane to get here, man. It was crazy. The dude who drove us in, lovely dude, who was like full of fucking information, a font of information about the area. And I'm actually into that. When I was a kid, I hated tour guides because I'm like, I'd rather watch cartoons. But as like a 47-year-old man, I'm like, teach me, teacher. Like, fucking hit me with your knowledge. And so he was rocking us with stuff. We were talking about like hotels. Like, so weird the conversations adults get into and shit like that. And so, we were talking about hotels, and I was like, yeah, I was surprised that the town's got as many hotels as it does. Like, I'm in one, I saw another one's getting built. There's like 2 around me. Mark's in one across town and shit. I said, like, there's at least 5, 6 hotels here in town. He's like, then you didn't count them all and you missed a bunch. I was like, all right, man, I get you and stuff. But I said, do you know why? He's like, they're building another one right now. I said, do you know why there's been a surge in building of hotels? Is there something going on? Like, is there a lot of winter activity here or anything? He didn't have an answer for that shit. That was when the answers fell apart, man. Like, suddenly there was no more information. But anyway, it was our ride in here, the dude was chit-chatting, telling us all about the area. And I was soaking it in because it's fucking beautiful, man. Like, this is where you go to, like when they say God's country, like, it's just pretty as fuck. Like, I can understand. I can understand why you have chosen to live off the grid, apparently. As long as you got a Staples, it's all fucking good and shit. But it's really fucking breathtaking. I've seen a lot of outdoorsy activity. People just walking around and having a good fucking time and shit. Taking walks, what looked like for health. Like, by choice, kind of crazy. And there was a white spot. So I was like, oh, fuck, we're in civilization. But once you get out of here, then apparently it gets like, near. A little further out, man.
I'm going to stay in the city.
Yeah. But you're here till what?
I'm here till Monday morning, so I got all day tomorrow.
And now that you know there is a strip club, you could call up Ming and be like, let's rectify.
I know. I got a pocket full of loonies. Let's pelt him at some strippers.
Sir, you're doing it wrong.
You're just supposed to lick them and put them on the forehead.
Do they? Wait a second, man. That's a good thought. They don't have any paper money, and it starts at the 5.
You've got to be a great stripper to start getting paper money here.
I'd imagine it starts at the 5. Is that the lowest bill? So in the States, you could make it rain with like singles, but here you're literally going to like take somebody out with a roll of loonies or something like that. Yeah. You're the best.
Like, for a $5 bill, you also better make me a grilled cheese. This is all great, but I'm hungry.
I'm not a strip club enthusiast and stuff, but do they
make grilled cheese?
No. Look, I know I'm not a strip club enthusiast, but I know enough not to eat the fucking food there, especially grilled cheese. But do they, in Canada, like fucking tip with loonies or toonies? Are you serious? So like somebody at the end of the night, they're going, there she is, Calgary Kate, ladies and gentlemen. Calgary Kate is picking up fucking coins from the stage?
Do they have like those change belts that they used to have?
Somebody's like, I want to tip you a loony, but I got a toonie. Can I have change, please? Yes, you can. Comes out of here. Cha-ching. It's too vivid a word picture. I'm here with a child.
Excellent parenting.
Have you heard anything about Solo so far?
The reactions that I saw on the internets, which has never been known to lie, is overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, it's looking good, man.
The people seem to really like it. Yeah.
Even Mark Hamill was just like, I like it. I want to go see it again.
I know what happens next.
Yeah. Somebody said that Billy D. Williams was at the premiere. That both Donald Glover and Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, they were both. And they were both wearing this amazing red kind of outfit. So watching Billy D with a crazy fucking cravat because for some reason in old age he's turned into Mr. Furley.
He's wearing a neckerchief?
He's wearing a giant fucking neckerchief. And then there's like Donald Glover who looks like, what if Prince was also in Star Wars? So it's like, how does one guy get to be the other guy? I don't really know, but yes. Give me more pictures with both of them in it.
We have not spoken about This Is America.
We have not spoken about This Is America.
What'd you think?
It's
beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's an astonishing piece of visual art.
He directed it, right?
No, a guy who directed every episode of Atlanta did it.
Oh, Hiro, yeah.
Roy Nakai, I think his name is.
Okay.
But it's
Thank God, man. Donald Glover didn't direct it.
There's one
Because
thing
one of
he
the
didn't do.
exactly where it's just like, fuck, man. If that's what a director can do, I got to turn my card in. You know, it's like he made an epic piece of art set to music. I made fucking Tusk. So I was like, I can learn from this person, but apparently it was
another guy.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because the song, I heard the song on SNL because the very first public airing of what the song was on Saturday Night Live, and I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. But until you see the video, until you take it all in, it doesn't quite stand on its own as an audio piece of work, and it absolutely benefits from watching the picture that he's painting of the kind of dichotomy of life in America, especially black life in America. And it's mind-boggling. I can't quite imagine layering something quite that densely and still have it be both entertaining and frightening, but that freighted with message.
And Easter eggs.
Yeah.
That's what we call message now. Easter eggs. It's friendlier, but yeah, it's layered with fucking message. It's not an easy song to sing along to.
No.
Other than the chorus, like I got that down. This is America. Do you think there'll be a Canadian version soon? This is Canada.
Make those loonies, indigenous people.
You rewriting lyrics on the fly.
I'm trying to help.
All right, man. We got stories to talk about.
Yes. Well, we both saw a movie that came out a couple weeks ago, and haven't actually gotten to talk to each other about this movie.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Avengers: Infinity War?
Fucking made it all the way up here. Yeah, we haven't had a chance to jaw about it. We jawed about it separately.
Yes.
I love that you reviewed it as well. What did you say?
I said that I had this weird emotional distance to the movie because it takes you like 40 minutes into watching Avengers: Infinity War to realize that it's not actually about the Avengers. So you show up and you're like, oh, what's Cap doing? I don't know. They're never going to tell me. Hey, all right, so I guess Scarlet Witch and Vision are kind of in love, but we only get there for like 2 minutes. But it's Thanos' story. Yeah. The movie is about Thanos, and he's your protagonist. And so the movie and the characters who are involved in the movie are only involved in as much as they tangent into Thanos. And it took me a while to kind of get up to speed with that because I was not invested in that much of what happened because the movie's not invested in what, like, Spider-Man, what are you doing? I'm going to school one day, and then, oh shit, the world's going apart. I'm going to fight stuff. Like, it's not about him. It's not about Doctor Strange. It's a little bit about Tony because you're like, I was thinking about having a baby. But so it got me, it took a while for me to get into it.
Right.
I can't imagine putting this movie together. Like, it is so fucking big.
It's big. It's epic.
There's so many characters. There's so many plot threads to have to weave in. There's so many tones to balance. Like how you get from Doctor Strange and Captain America to Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor and make it all feel like it's part of the same movie and not this weird collage of different kinds of films. It's remarkable in just we managed to make this whole together kind of way.
It's weird that the biggest, most epic movie of all time thus far ever made is a comic book movie.
Yeah.
And mind you, they were able to put it together on green screens. Like the people who made Gone with the Wind are like, oh, that's an epic. But, like technology grows and, you grow with it. Filmmaking grows with it. So it's like you can't fault them that they've got it easier than they had it back in the day. Like for Lawrence of Arabia, when they wanted a scene with all the extras, they literally had all those extras out there in the middle of nowhere. They didn't just duplicate them like Peter Jackson did with the orcs and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like if you're in the desert in Lawrence of Arabia and you've got 4,000 people walking across it and you got to do take two, you got to back up 4,000 people and then clean the desert so it doesn't look like there had been 4,000 people on it.
Yeah.
That takes some time. That takes a day.
Yeah.
Easy.
So let's put them in a separate category from the Russo brothers because Russo brothers had it tough to keep all the storylines going, but I saw the behind the scenes stuff. Like when you watch the fighting on Wakanda, you're like, oh my God, this looks amazing. They must have went on location somewhere. And
yeah,
it's a series of fucking green screens. Like it's amazing what they could pull off now, including a character that you just take for granted because the movie is about him and he's in so much of it, Thanos. Yeah. That is such an insanely well rendered motion capture character that you just buy it. You're like, yeah, I guess it's Josh Brolin in makeup. And it's like a lot more than Josh Brolin in fucking makeup. It's Josh Brolin with dots all over him and probably wearing stilts. And then they fucking made him even bigger. And so he interacts with people and has that big ass hand and stuff. It's really an impressive fucking achievement when you watch the thing from end to end that his character holds like all the way through. And then you think about, like, I remember at the end of Avengers, I couldn't help but think about Justice League and how similar the movies kind of were. And as much as like you have a super team dealing with some threat from another fucking world and stuff like that. And, you know, Steppenwolf looked so like rendered like a video game character, and Thanos has depth and proportion. Now, there were moments in the movie where like Proxima Midnight, she looked a little, I wouldn't say rushed, but like she looked a little bit of a video game character and stuff. But they took their sweet time with Thanos, and thankfully so, because you're right, the whole fucking movie is about him. It's weird. I hadn't thought about that until you said that. Avengers are almost secondary characters to his story.
Yeah, it's what does Thanos want, as opposed to what do the Avengers want. And it's about, can we stop Thanos from getting what he wants? Spoilers, they don't. I'm sorry, is there... Okay.
Yeah, hey, for those who haven't seen it yet, I mean, what the fuck?
You call yourself nerds.
We gave you a couple weeks, man. So yeah, there would be some spoiler talk right about now.
Yeah, like, and I never did quite. So much of what happened in the second half of that movie, especially Peter Quill and his interactions with Glovey Boy, it's when he ruins the plan, quote unquote ruins the plan, because of course there's a plan that Doctor Strange saw 16 million different variations, and there's only one version that they win, and apparently that's the plan he's enacting.
That was me coming out of the fucking movie theater after I saw the movie, man, because I was just like, I was in New York, and I took my wife, and she was like, "Do you have to take me?" And I was like, "Yeah, fucking, we're gonna love this. This is gonna be great." She's like, "We're not gonna love this. You're gonna love it, but okay, let's go." So when we fucking went, like the whole movie, I'm like, and grabbing her and shaking her and fucking telling her shit she don't want to know.
Marriage.
Totally. But at the end of it, she was just like, you know, she's like, I actually like that. She's like, I really enjoyed it. She had a completely different take on it, though, with Gamora. She was just like, he's gone back to the beginning. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, remember, like, Gamora was being pulled away from her mom and stuff. Like, you know, that's that when after he snaps his fingers, he sees the little Gamora girl. She was tying those things together. And I was like, you're fucking wrong. Like, I was like, you don't read enough comics to understand this shit. Let me mansplain it to you. So I did. After I came out of the theater, man, I was like, oh, fucking, like, don't you get it, man? Like, Doctor Strange said he saw 16 million different variations, and they lose in every one except one. And, you know, and that's what he had to do. He's like, fucking, he knew in order to fucking beat Thanos, they have to lose the battle, but ultimately they're going to win the war. And that future version he saw apparently involved Captain Marvel, based on the last shot of the movie, which had me fucking screaming. I screamed. I was at a press screening of the movie in New York on Monday or Tuesday of the week that it opened. And when, again, spoilers, cover your ears if you don't want to know this shit. When it looks like Tony Stark is getting killed, like Thanos breaks that thing off and fucking stabbed him, like I literally just leapt forward in my seat and was like, no! Like fucking Luke Skywalker watching Ben Kenobi get killed and shit. And then, you know, it turns out that's not what happens and shit. But then I read the Daily News review of the movie from the New York Daily News, and they were like, there's a moment, this movie is full of surprises, so much so that filmmaker Kevin Smith screamed, no, at a certain point in the movie. Yeah, man, it was an incredible ride, and I was deeply invested. But that moment at the end, you know, I forgot about fucking Nick Fury and shit. Like all of a sudden they went to credits, and I didn't know what the fucking post-credit sequence would be. And when they showed Nick Fury and Maria Hill, I was like, oh shit, I forgot about them. This is an Avengers movie. They should be in it. And then I was like, oh shit, they're fading away. But but that and it was a beautiful fade with him going motherfucker. You know, he doesn't get to say fuck. And then the device, when they push in on it, I was like, what? Who? And then when they show the Captain Marvel symbol, I was, again, my wife's next to me. I was like, oh, fuck!
Filmmaker Kevin Smith once said, "Oh, fuck," at a moment at the end of this film.
I loved that moment so much. The whole fucking ride back to the hotel, like with my wife, I was like, you don't get it, Captain Marvel. Now they're going to go back and tell. First, we're going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp in like less than 3 months. Then we're going to see Captain Marvel that's going to be set in the 80s. And that's why that device looks so shitty and old and shit like that. And we're going to find out how they met and how Sam Jackson knows how to call her and shit like that. And my wife was just like, I can't believe I let you stick your fucking dick in me.
The first time I saw the movie was at the tail end of a 31-hour Marvel movie marathon.
You sat through them.
I sat through it. It's 12 of the 18 movies. There were no sequels except for Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Civil War. So there was no Iron Man 2 or 3, there was no Thor 2 or 3, there was no Guardians 2, there was no Winter Soldier. But it was 31 hours in a movie theater that culminated with an Infinity War. And so I was just compromised in almost every way by the time it started. Like my spine had fused solid, my knees were powder. I had been consisting entirely on fried chicken. So not healthy. I had a lovely greasy glow about me. But by the time we got to that movie, like, this was a crowd who'd been waiting for a day and a half in one place for this movie. And so everybody was as pumped as you can possibly be for a film.
And as stinking as one could be for a movie as well,
dear
I'd
God.
imagine.
The smells. Oh, the smells.
A communal experience.
It very much smelled like a commodal experience is probably. But this was an audience as emotionally invested and ready for a movie as I've ever seen it. And when everything gets quiet and people start fading away, you could hear the air literally suck out of the theaters. Fuck you. And it didn't really get me until Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man was the one that got me because, again, I'd been sitting through 31 hours of Marvel movies and watching Homecoming just before watching Infinity War, which is all about, that movie is all about Tony Stark saying, if I put you in the suit and you die, it's my fault.
Yeah.
That's on me. And then you get to Infinity War and he puts him in the suit and he dies.
Yeah.
And it's all on him. And that broke me. I was already mostly broken. All that was just like the last little bit at the end of the zipper that just opens up the fly and suddenly I'm just laying on the ground, sleepy.
No, that was
broken.
you just kissing away the last bit of dignity you had left.
Like,
And just going full on like, I'm fucking sorry, Peter. I'll tell you, his performance in that moment, and I guess it's been covered in the press, he ad-libbed that moment, Tom Holland. His performance in that moment is so genuine that, like, I bought. Like, even though I'm smarter than that, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they've killed off Spider-Man and shit. But what I didn't buy was when they killed off Black Panther. Because I was like, oh no, that movie made too much money for that to happen. He'll be back for sure, you know? But Tom Holland's performance was pretty moving to the point where I'm like, holy shit, man, I'm buying that this kid's fucking dying.
Yeah. It's like we all know intellectually as nerds and fans.
There you go, get right up in it.
There you go. That death doesn't mean anything in a science fiction construct. You know, we've seen characters come back from the dead for 50 years in the media we love, but it still worked. In that moment, you still felt real loss.
The magic trick of a movie. And you only feel real loss because you've loved those characters for 10 years. They did such a great job of setting up that universe that when they started taking the toys away from you, you're like, no. Walter Flanagan, the guy from Comic Book Men, we were talking about the movie, and I was like, "Did you like it?" He goes, "I fucking loved it and stuff." And he goes half and half on the movies. He's not like me. I love them all, man. Don't matter. I'm like, fucking Tank Girl, loved it. You know, Catwoman that wasn't Catwoman, loved it. You know, Halle Berry Catwoman. But for him, he's more discerning and shit. So I was like, "Do you like it?" He goes, "I loved it." And he said, I said, "What'd you think of the ending?" He goes, "I really liked it." He's going, "But for one moment, I thought when they were going in on the beeper, he's going that it was going to be the number 4. And right there, I started crying because I was like, we missed a better movie. Like, could you imagine if they were just like 4 and you're like, oh, fuck, they're fucking in the universe. Here comes the Baxter building, bitch. But what they gave us was amazing. And I love the
Not so
Captain
bad.
Marvel fucking teaser at the end. I thought it was really one of their best teasers.
I spoke to my mom, who is not a comic book person. She's a 76-year-old black lady who lives in New York. Not that you can't be a superhero person if you're a 76-year-old black lady who lives in New York, but most of them aren't. But she loved Black Panther because, again, she's a 76-year-old black lady who lives in New York.
That somehow sounds racist. But you're getting away with it.
That's the one good thing. But so, of course, she's like, oh, Black Panther's in Avengers Infinity War. I'm going to go see that. And I'm like, Mom, you're going to be really disappointed if you're showing up for Black Panther in this movie because they spend like 20 minutes in Wakanda and he dies.
Spoilers.
I know. I'm trying to save my mom the heartbreak because I think for there's a vast segment, at least of the American public, that showed up to Black Panther, and that was the very first Marvel movie they went to.
Oh.
And Black Panther functions entirely as a standalone piece of work. You need no context whatsoever to be able to enjoy that movie. And they sold Avengers Infinity War real hard on Wakanda. Yeah. They sold it real hard on Black Panther, welcoming people back and, get this man a shield. All of that is the way that worked. And so if you showed up for Black Panther, like, you know what, I want to see the sequel. It wasn't Avengers Infinity War. Hey, you're really fucking pissed when you get to wait. It took them 50 minutes to get to Wakanda and then they killed everybody?
Yeah.
This bullshit is what my mom said on the phone. She rarely curses because she's a 76-year-old black lady who lives in New York, but she was pissed.
They took away her Black Panther.
I just got a Black Panther.
She's like, I didn't even know I liked this shit. Now I do, and he's fucking gone.
Fuck you, Marvel.
But yeah, man, it was a magic trick of a movie, and like every magic trick, sooner or later you're gonna get to see how it's done, and that's the next movie.
That's the next movie. It's doing pretty well at the box office. I'm not sure if you've been keeping up.
It's made $200 from what I understand.
It's made $200. It's made $502 million domestic.
Oh,
North
that's
America,
all the money then, isn't it?
And $1.3 billion globally.
Ugh. I believe. Hi.
Oh, hello.
Thank you. Give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen. I honestly thought we were going to get killed for a second, and I was like, this is how it ends, man. Not a heart attack in fucking California. I get stabbed by a nicely dressed lady in Prince George. Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah. And it made $1.3 million global. It is still not quite caught up to Black Panther yet. Black Panther's still beating it in both of those regards. Black Panther has $33 million more internationally and $192 million more domestically, but it's
early in the run.
It's early. It's 3 weeks into this movie. It's got plenty of time and plenty of legs.
What was the fall off of the second week? It fell off by more than 100, but it was so massive it didn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, all of these movies tend to drop off between 50 and 60%.
They say there's a very exclusive club now of movies that drop by $100 million in their second week, but still are insanely profitable.
Yeah.
And Force Awakens just missed it. I think their second week was like 96 million or something, a 96 million drop. But Avengers was, Infinity War was like 100 or over 100. But still, it didn't matter because its opening number was so ungodly.
So
huge.
massive. So they're going to make more of these, I think.
Yeah.
There was talk today, I think there was an interview that Kevin Feige had done where he mentioned that they're going to, post-Captain Marvel, bring Ms. Marvel into the screen. Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel.
Really?
Really. But they're waiting for Captain Marvel to establish that beachhead, but I think in subsequent movies they're going to integrate her into the process.
They've also said they're going to do the Eternals, which, look, I'll follow Marvel into anything. I remember when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, fucking, what a dumb idea. Like a talking tree and a raccoon, who wants to see that? And everybody wanted to see it. So they certainly know what they're doing. The Eternals was never something that I was very into, but if they feel like there's something there, I'll follow them.
For all those people who love the Inhumans, here come the Eternals.
Yeah.
And nobody loved the Inhumans, by the way.
They just announced cancellation of the Inhumans.
They did, which we all assumed, because they made like 8 of them and nobody ever heard from them again.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago. It's like, no, we officially canceled it.
Back to the moon with you. Just the other day they announced that they're not coming back, ABC. They announced a bunch of cancellations, didn't they?
They did. The one that I think cut the deepest, the two that I think cut the deepest to the nerd heart, were The Expanse on Sci-Fi. I'm not sure where it carries up here, but The Expanse is. I'm sorry. Yeah, Expanse is gone, and Lucifer. Back to hell with Lucifer.
Listen to all that sympathy for the devil. Thank you.
That was the best pity applause.
I'll take it.
Well earned. It was a pun. Puns get pity applause.
I get pity fucked. I'll take pity applause as well.
But yeah, I mean, and Lucifer had what, 4 seasons?
I thought you were going to say Lucifer had like 4 viewers. I don't know anybody that watched Lucifer. Did you watch it?
I watched it every week.
Did you really?
I did. I love it. My wife loved it.
Really?
Yeah. It is a thoroughly digestible, incredibly charismatic and charming little police procedural about the devil. Like, how's that a bad thing?
Yeah. Did they ever announce like or tie it into The Endless or Dream or anything like that?
They never did.
Because that's Neil Gaiman. Does he get a credit? Is it his version of Lucifer?
He does. He gets a front-loaded credit which says...
Is Mazikeen a character in it?
Mazikeen's a character in
really?
it. Yeah. Yeah, they bring Maze with him. But it's one of those shows that was a steady performer for Fox, but wasn't owned by Fox. And in the way that sort of the vertical integrated economy ends up working, is that Warner Brothers owned the show, Fox broadcast the show. Fox never made any real money on the show, but it does really well overseas. It does really well internationally. And so Warner Brothers was raking it in, but Fox was like, we don't get that money. We're going to put on like Last Man Standing, which we own, and we'll make all of that money. And so take care, Lucifer. See you later, Last Man on Earth. Good luck, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, shows we don't own.
And they canceled those. But the good news for Brooklyn Nine-Nine is NBC just picked it up.
Yeah, NBC...
So they're coming right back. And that makes sense. Andy Samberg came from Lorne Michaels' SNL world. NBC is Lorne Michaels' SNL world. That makes absolute sense.
Totally.
People really like that show, too. One of the most diverse shows on TV. And funny, legit funny show.
It's funny. And there's a world in which Hulu might step in to rescue Last Man on Earth. And there's also kind of a no-brainer argument for DC's new streaming app called the DC Universe to pick up Lucifer. Like, why would you not? Like, the engine is there, the cast is there, it's beloved by the fans. This is a network that's built for the fans. Like, why not just absorb it and move on? Just keep going.
Because the cost per episode probably really high on something like Lucifer. Where was that set?
It's set in L.A., shot in L.A.
Shot in L.A., so that's a pricey little show.
It's a pricey little show, but like not crazy more pricey than like Titans will be, which is their big sort of live-action splash.
Really?
Yeah, on the DC.
You know what's kind of weird to think about is like they have... In the last 5 years, we have had a John Constantine Hellblazer TV show and a Lucifer TV show. 2 like Vertigo books have been given the mainstream treatment, and it's a shame to see them get canceled, but like, can't believe we live in a world where that's even happened at all, that anyone risked a dime on those 2 concepts that started on the comic book page. It's a win, even though, like, look, every TV show is born to be fucking canceled sooner or later. So I still call that a fucking win. The fact that they were able to take Lucifer to the screen from the page is a cool thing, man.
And they got 4 seasons out of it. Like, that is no small feat in this modern economy. In an economy where Firefly gets 13 episodes, the fact that fucking Lucifer even got on the air at all on Fox and got a 2nd season is remarkable. Although someday we will learn to not trust Fox. I'm just saying. They will always take what you love.
What else is going on in the world of comic book news?
Well, were you a Wild Stallions fan as a kid?
Of course. Bill and Ted, man.
Yeah.
You don't get to Jay and Bob without Bill and Ted, I'll tell you that much.
After making 2 pictures, Bill and Ted, Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in 1991, they're now making a Bill and Ted 3.
Yes.
It's only taken them now 25 years to put together a sequel, but yeah, Bill and Ted Face the Music.
I think this is an awesome idea.
It's pretty great.
I dig it.
Do you guys know what it's about? Do you guys know the story of Bill and Ted Face the Music? I'll read it to you from the news. Bill and Ted Face the Music will see the duo long past their days as time-traveling teenagers and now weighed down by middle age and the responsibilities of family. They've written thousands of tunes but have yet to write a good one, much less the greatest song ever written. With the fabric of time and space tearing around them, a visitor from the future warns our heroes that only their song can save life as we know it. Out of luck and fresh out of inspiration, Bill and Ted set out on a time travel adventure to seek the song that will set their world right and bring harmony to the universe as we know it. Together with the aid of their daughters, a new crop of historical figures, and some sympathetic music legends, they find much, much more than just a song.
I'm in. They got my money on that one. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sequelize everything. I mean, that's the thing. Ours is a generation of nostalgia. So, and it's never going to go away because now you see what comes out of it. Like, it's profitable. They're realizing that, like, there's money to be made in nostalgia. Oh, did you like Roseanne? Here's fucking more, you know? Oh, did you like this? Here's some fucking more. So, like, this is an example of that where it's just like, they like Bill and Ted. Let's fucking sequelize Bill and Ted. Are the guys willing to do it? The one guy certainly is. Let's check with the other guy. Fuck yeah.
Let's check with the movie star.
Yeah, let's fucking do it. I don't know. I'm all for it, man. Sequelize everything we ever loved.
I see no downside to this one at all. They're making the Captain Marvel movie now in Hollywood. It's currently in production in Los Angeles. Annette Bening just joined the cast of Captain Marvel.
Who's she playing?
It's unclear beyond Science Lady is in the description.
That's classy. They always hire like a classy Hollywood actor where you're like, holy shit! Like they got Robert Redford for fucking White Winter Soldier.
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close playing Nova Prime and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be that there had been at one point some kind of effete barrier between like real quote unquote actors and superhero content, but it feels as if either A, they realized that hey, this could be an awesome retirement bonus if we star in a giant fucking movie that's going to make $50, $60, $100 billion. I wouldn't mind some of that cash. And also, I got grandkids, you know, and they don't come see my other movies. They'd love to see me on screen. Come watch me at Captain Marvel. Wouldn't that be great if you see Grandma save the world?
Yeah.
Like, that's legit. That's for real. That's why, what's his face? Gary Oldman was in Harry Potter. He was like, my kids have never seen any other movie I've been in before because they can't, because they're all awful and horrible and I just curse and kill people for all of them, but I wanted to make a movie I could take my kids to. One. And
if I was him, I would have taken my kids to see Sid and Nancy. Just be like, look at that shit. That's how you got here. Because I'm fucking good. What else you got?
Peter Jackson, who we haven't really heard from in a while. Ever since, you know, ever since the Hobbit movies, he kind of vanished a little bit off the map, unless your map is solely focused on New Zealand and you've got a LoJack on him, so you know where he goes. He is now toying with two big versions of a comeback. Either he's going to join the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show that they're making. Have you heard about this thing?
Yeah, they're doing $1 billion version of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it cost them $25 million. All right, excuse me, $250 million just to get the rights from the Tolkien estate to make a TV show. If they don't make a show, they don't get that money back. So Amazon just literally here's our money. Can we please make a show? And none of that money goes towards the making of the show itself. So $1 on camera people, on costumes, on locations, on actors has not been spent yet. So Peter Jackson is deciding whether or not he wants to join that as a producer and maybe a director.
Thoughts?
I mean, as much as the...
Lord knows he's got a lot of practice at making Lord of the Rings things, but like at the same time, it's like, isn't he fucking tired of hobbits yet? Like, he's like, I don't work with tall people, fuck.
I mean, if were I him, that's not where I'd go, although I also understand him being a little homesick for the thing that made his bones, the thing that gave him, you know, Oscars up the wazoo, the thing that people love. There's no shame in, again, going back to the things that people love.
True.
But who knows if he's got new stories to tell in that world.
Because they're literally just retelling the stories again.
Not quite.
What are they doing? They're not making up new shit, are they?
They are, because Tolkien wrote a bunch of shit that exists in like appendices and indexes and Silmarillions, and there's a whole universe of alternate shit that does not actually focus on the ring itself. And so I think they're looking to dive into that material and tell early stories of Aragorn, early stories of Middle-earth, early stories about the men of the West and all that stuff without talking about Frodo or Bilbo or the Ring or Sauron or anything. Because again, we saw the best version of that stuff already.
I was going to say, like, all the shit that you just talked about, like, none of it sounds remotely interesting to me, but you know, I didn't, honestly, those movies, you know my feeling, those movies are about walking, so fuck them. But you know, like, clearly there's an audience for it, and as Game of Thrones has proven, like, you know, you can go deep into mythology of something and people will take the ride. You know, Game of Thrones exists because of fucking the Lord of the Rings movies in the first place.
Totally.
And it seems like the snake eating the tail in this instance.
It's an Ouroboros of content.
What is that? Explain.
The Ouroboros is the snake that eats its own tail.
That's its name?
That's its name.
Ouroboros?
I believe it is. I might have mispronounced it, but I can totally spell it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So he's deciding whether or not he wants to do that or a DC movie.
Oh, fucking do that. Oh my God, he's very good at making movies, and so far they have not been. That to me is, you got your peanut butter in my chocolate. You got my chocolate and your peanut butter. Together they taste wonderful.
Yeah, because I think DC is in a very big bad way starting to recruit big-time filmmakers.
Get him. Fuck, he's a talented filmmaker. I mean, again, like, I wasn't a big Rings guy, but I loved, one of my favorite movies of all time is Heavenly Creatures. Mm-hmm. He's a gifted storyteller. So give him material that I like. Look how seriously he treated that Hobbit shit. Give him some fucking Batman, something that means something. Never mind magic rings and volcanoes and blinky eyes. Talking about the Joker, motherfucker.
What would you want to see him do?
Let me see.
If you can mate him with anything, keeping in mind that New Gods, which would have been my pick, is now gone.
Yeah, I mean, look, not to take anything away from Ava, but like, yeah, that would have been right up his alley, considering fucking Lord of the Rings. What would I like to see him do in DC Universe? Peter Jackson, DC Universe.
It's coming to me.
It's coming, all right. Let me see. What would I enjoy the most? Fuck. Not Green Arrow, I don't think. I think Green Arrow too small for a man of his immense talents. Honestly, like, give him I know people will be like, too soon, but let that motherfucker at the Justice League, man. Like, suddenly you'd probably have the one that you wanted to see, I would imagine. Maybe not.
Justice League Dark.
Yeah, but he's too big for that. Like, that feels like Guillermo's movie to me. Guillermo del Toro should be doing Justice League Dark. Peter Jackson should be doing, like, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, just something fucking massive. Arkham Asylum. Fucking, like, what?
Kingdom Come.
Fuck yes. Why are you running a studio, man? Kingdom fucking Come in the hands of that guy? Oh, we'd all Kingdom Come. That's good news. That makes me happy. Good. I hope he picks that. Like, I know the Rings are close to his heart and shit, and he could do it in his sleep at this point, but it's like, come on, they need help over there, dude. Do what you did for them boring-ass Rings books. I still never got past chapter 1. This shit's thicker than the Bible and twice as boring. So he did a great job with those movies, so I imagine he could take fucking some DC stuff and make them magic and whatnot. If honestly, that guy's so talented. If I'm him, I'm like, here, I'm not just gonna make a DC movie. I'm gonna sequelize all the DC movies you fucking hate. But I'm gonna make it my style, and you're gonna love them. I'm gonna retcon them and shit. You're gonna hail Zack Snyder as a genius, mark my words. Could you imagine he pulls that magic trick off? He won an Oscar for movies about walking trees. I think he could fucking pull it off, man. Good for him. I hope he does that.
Yeah. So he hasn't decided yet, but knock on wood, fingers crossed, Kingdom Come. Here's my favorite story of the week. The original maroon and gold Iron Man suit worn by Robert Downey Jr. in the first 2008 movie.
Mark II, Mark III?
Well,
Mark I is the big clunky one, then the silver one is the Mark II.
Right.
And then the Mark III is the paint.
Was stolen in Hollywood. Pacoima, which is like 20 minutes outside of Hollywood. But it was stolen from a place called Movie Prop Storage. The Pacoima Prop House told police that the suit must have gone missing between February and April 25th of this year.
If I was that place, I'd been like, it was there, and then it just crumbled in the air and disappeared.
But somebody in Hollywood staged a fucking heist of the Iron Man suit and got away clean. And that suit is worth, the value is reported to be around $350,000.
I blame Whiplash.
Do you think, like, if you're stealing that suit, what are you doing with it?
What are you doing with the Iron Man suit?
Because you can't really sell it.
Sexual things. Clearly, if you're going out of your way to steal like it, that's like you can't sneak that under your armpit. That's pretty noticeable and shit. So if you're going through that distance, you're definitely putting it on.
Right.
Which it's only going to fit like a body type of Robert Downey Jr.'s size. And I can't imagine anybody stealing the Iron Man suit is that in shape. So you're probably not going to wear it. So at the end of the day, like...
But fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. I guess. Here's my pulsar ray. Or a pulsar. How does one... and how do you sell it? Like, clearly you're stealing it for yourself.
Right. There's no, like, fence whose expertise is, like, screen-worn movie props.
Right.
Like, no, I can move this on the black market. I know a guy in Istanbul who really wants one. That doesn't exist. So you're buying it like fucking Thomas Crown. You're just going to put it in your basement and, like, masturbate to it / on it. Or in it if you're skinny enough. Or maybe just put the hand on and, like... and with the rockets going...
It's kind of like you're getting a fucking Stark hand job. Yeah, man, I don't understand why one would do that. Like, you can't, sooner or later it's going to come out. Somebody will find it and shit. Unless they hide it in plain sight, because they have those, like, Iron Man statues you could buy and shit. I guess someone could put that in their house and be like, no, I didn't steal this, I bought it.
Yeah, I went to
at a Sharper Image catalog, yeah, or something like that.
Went to a Hot Topic. They got this for like $100.
Like $100? Like, yeah, it was going out of business. That is a story I guess we'll continue to hear about for sure. Sooner or later, somebody's going to be like, I found it. It's going to be a bald guy in the desert, and he's going to sell it to fucking Jeff Bridges. And at first you're going to think that he's the Mandarin, but no. It's Gandhi.
I have one more story.
Okay.
It's a personal story. I wrote a comic book about 10 years ago called The Highwaymen.
The Highwaymen.
The Highwaymen for DC. It was a miniseries, went 5 issues. It was, I'll say it, very well received and poorly selling.
You wrote it.
I wrote it. I co-wrote it with my comic book writing partner, Adam Freeman. DC owned it outright. Like, that was part of the deal going into it, was DC was going to own the characters in the comic book. We just get to write it, and we got paid whatever you get paid to write a comic book. The news broke about 3 weeks ago that DC and New Line and Warner Brothers are developing this now as a major feature film.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're going to be rich.
No, I won't be rich at all because DC owns it all. So I get nothing if this becomes a movie.
Are you shitting me?
I will get 2 tickets to the premiere. I will get a picture with whoever they get to star in it. And I will get screen credit based on the comic book created by so-and-so and so-and-so. But the giant Brinks truck full of money will not back up to my house.
Who's writing it?
Don't know.
That's so weird, man. Like, it's like you had a baby and they're like, thank you.
oh, this is adorable. You'll never see it again.
Yeah. And they waited like 10 years to take it away from me. He did all the hard work and like, thank you. Wow, man.
So yeah, good news, but not like life-changing news in any way.
I mean, it's still nice to have like, if you got to feel good, like, hey, my ideas have manifested in a comic book, have manifested in a movie.
Not so bad.
But yeah, the check is nice, I guess.
Yeah. A friend of mine is Andy Diggle, who wrote The Losers for Vertigo back in the day, which I think was a very similar deal in that he wrote it and it didn't belong to him, but they made a movie, so they invited him out to the set and he did some EPK stuff and it's like, I created The Losers, isn't this awesome? And there's Idris Elba and there's Jeffrey Dean Morgan and wee! And then he goes to the premiere and that's the end of that story. And so he was very happy about the process. It's like, they made a fucking movie about my comic book, but I am not like living Mark Millar style in a castle in Scotland off of this shit. I am not like basking in the glow of money raining from the sky like Neil Gaiman.
Does Mark Millar live in a castle in fucking Scotland?
I'm going to say he does. Everybody lives in a castle in Scotland. That's all they have. It's just castles, wall to wall, and moats, and locks.
I have been working on, in fact, I was working on before I came to the show tonight, Hit Girl miniseries for Mark. I'm on issue 3. One more issue to write, 4, and then I'm done. And it's been a fucking blast. Like, it's fun when you get to play with somebody else's character, IP, good idea. Like, I couldn't come up with that idea. Thankfully, he did. There's a universe of books behind it because they've done a few Kick-Ass miniseries and a Hit Girl miniseries. So I got to play with the toys, and it's been a fucking good time, man. Real good time.
That's awesome.
It was so much so that I'm like, what else can I write in comics? So I think I'm going to go back and finish my Batman miniseries with Walter Flanagan as well, because I'm kind of in the zone now.